Is it time for yet another new Governor General? On Tuesday, the current Governor General, Mary Simon, was touring a food bank in Quebec City when reporters noticed that she wasn't using any French. Now, she's been Governor General for 3 years. When she was appointed back in 2021, it was assumed she would learn French. She's the first Governor General since the 1950s not to be bilingual. And she did make promises in her first speeches that she was going to become proficient in both official languages. But 3 years later, she goes to a food bank in Quebec City, and Quebec reporters notice that she's speaking strictly in English, except to say, hello, how are you, and some of the basic greetings in French. Now, that's by itself not awful. I mean, I think that people in the rest of Canada would not be happy if the Governor General spoke only French. So you have to understand that it is an irritant, if not an insult, to Quebecers that the Governor General, the highest person in the country, doesn't speak their language. But what made it worse was that Simon, after she was questioned about her inability to speak French, canceled the whole of the rest of her Quebec City trip. She was there for an official visit, and once she got questioned on her inability to speak French, she quit, went back to Ottawa. That is the real insult. And this is a Governor General who has spent lavishly traveling around the world. You'll remember that she and 30 guests spent $93,000 on in-flight meals on the government's executive jet when she went to Dubai and Kuwait in the Middle East. You might remember that she took 33 people with her to Frankfurt for a book fair. That total trip cost about $700,000. And again, about $100,000 on catered meals on government jets. When she was in Reykjavik for a circumpolar conference of one sort or another, she spent $70,000 simply on limos. I've been to Reykjavik. It's a beautiful city, but it's small. You can walk from the hotels to the conference center very easily. Mary Simon had the taxpayers of Canada spend $70,000 getting her limos and security vehicles so she could go the 5 blocks from her hotel to the conference center. It's unconscionable. Now we have this insult that she's committed in Quebec City when it comes to using the French language in her official capacity. So is it time to get rid of Mary Simon too? You remember, she was brought in to replace Julie Payette, who had harassed her staff so badly that a lot of the people at Rideau Hall were quitting because they couldn't put up with her bullying at work. Payette also had $250,000 spent making the entrance to Rideau Hall, which is the Governor General's official residence. She had $250,000 spent making the entrance more private so she couldn't be seen by the riffraff, the public, who were out on the lawn when she was going into her home. The Mary Simon instance and the Julie Payette instance are both examples that the Trudeau government cannot vet its appointees with any kind of intelligence or sensitivity. Both of these Governor Generals could easily have been stopped from becoming embarrassments if the Trudeau government had simply done its homework in advance. But it doesn't do that. We know that from a whole bunch of other appointments lately, like the soon-to-be, or the person who was to be the commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, not vetted, had to resign before he was officially appointed because he was an embarrassment. This is the evidence that the Trudeau government is incompetent, that it gets so caught up in its woke ideas that Mary Simon, first Indigenous person to be appointed Governor General, got to do it. We don't need to check her background. Wokeness will get us through. That's the problem here. And it may very well be time for yet another new Governor General. For Post Media, I'm Lorne Gunter.